across the centuries, blood upon the banners where the waters flow. Blaze, spark, grounded and grow. Strain, stock, flows in the oak. For I am rebirth, I am the tear in the tide. Wake me when I die again, I am rebirth. Cycle of spirit denied. Get back up and try again. Reap the eternal from the mind, take the memory, cast all the suffer in the sky to enlighten me. Reap the eternal from the mind, see the waterfall, cast all the suffer in the sky. Mystic emerald, sever the ties, virgin of the parasite, consider the spirits of the permanent. Never denied, order in the acolytes, truce immortal coulter ever turbulent. Blaze, spark, break up in frame, strain, stop, friends fade away, for I am rebirth, I am the
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Traveler's Tavern. With me, I got Filia Noctis.
Hi,
I got-
everybody.
I got 242 reads here. We got the birthday girl, so everybody say happy birthday to her in the chat.
Hey guys.
And our special guest, Serafin, the Midnight Bard.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Happy birthday, 42.
Thank you.
Your voice got a lot deeper recently.
I've gotten better at my voice acting.
I'm like, why can't I find her in chat? Because she's listed as Nevermore Collective right now.
Yeah, I just use the Nevermore Collective when I'm doing this. It's way easier.
Yes. I forgot about that.
Who's do we got in the chat? We got
So-
Serafin. We got Fearsome Hero. Hey, Fearsome. Philly is in the chat. There's the Raven. Hey, Raven. And Pam.
Bam!
Okay.
Hey.
Howdy, peoples.
And of
Hello,
course,
my
me.
name's
Sure.
Filia.
Yeah, I'm sure more peoples will roll in shortly.
Welcome to the Traveler's Tavern. Belly up to the bar and let us know what you want.
On here, we got the bard in the tavern.
We do. Does the bard
Happy-
Does the bard have anything to say?
Tell us about yourself.
Tell about myself. Let's see. I'm all about the strange, the bizarre, and the unexplained. From a young age, I've been a fan of literature, particularly that which holds me entranced until the story reaches its conclusion. Horror is a way to explore what scares you, but also to find what makes you brave. At least, so it is to me.
Wow.
Did you just come up with
Yeah,
that
I
off
love that
the top of
voice.
your head, or did you
Yeah,
write
it-
that down?
It was on the fly, yep.
Jeez,
Yeah.
that was awesome.
That was. I got goosebumps.
Thank you.
There's a reason why he's the bard. Anyways.
Right?
I guess that's why the bard. I guess that's why the bard likes my stories, because they,
Mhm.
you know, they entertain him.
It's very true.
That's why he doesn't like
I-
mine. Mine are boring. Anyways.
Yeah, they're so lame.
No,
So-
no.
Yours are great, 42, and you know it.
Absolutely.
I'm allowed to make shots fired at myself. Thank you very much.
I know. I'll roll
As
some
they do say, we are our
self-deprecating
own biggest critics.
Yes.
And I'll roll some self-deprecating humor, but I'm also gonna, tell you that it's false and you're awesome.
Oh,
Hey, the
Boggs.
Boggs official. What's up, Boggs?
Dogs.
Hello,
I
Bob.
haven't
Boggs is
seen him
here.
in a little bit, actually, now that I think about it.
Welcome.
Wasn't he in your birthday stream? I remember him being there. I think.
God,
I can't remember.
The birthday stream was so hard to keep track of everything going on.
No,
haven't
wait.
given the
It was in the Phasmophobia stream. That's where I saw him.
Yeah, and I
So I
wasn't
haven't-
there.
So I haven't given the people what they want. Welcome, travelers. You're all welcome.
There you go. That's the way.
Okay.
I know Pam loves that intro voice.
Right. So I have actually interviewed you before, but I have fresh new questions, I think. I don't know. Probably asked them before.
Fantastic.
So in your little intro there that was just delicious, you made it sound like you read a lot, or you read a lot as a child.
Yes, I actually did. It was common. It was common for me to finish a novel roughly about every month, and a lot of that stemmed because my school had been state exemplary for the past 3 years running, so they really drilled into us the importance of reading. They had programs in place where basically you got a lot of extra credit for reading a novel and taking a test on it. They had a list of things that were approved for the test. So I would pick what looked interesting to me, read through it, and then just do extra credit. That way I wouldn't have to work as hard.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah.
Now, did they have forbidden books?
The forbidden books came much later.
Oh,
Did you
You know.
read the no books?
yeah, what are the books?
Which are we talking about? The no books, like the things that teach you arcane knowledge, or no books as in the things that I shouldn't have read before I was the age of 16?
Oh, I was talking about the books
I
that,
meant whatever
you know,
books that they
Burning
had.
Book.
Yeah,
You know, Catcher in the Rye is a horrible book. And,
yeah. I was referring to the books that they had on the ban list, the ones that they were like, this is not this is not age appropriate.
Yes, they did have The Catcher in the Rye. I remember that was one of them. I never read it myself, mostly because I had heard a rumor that a lot of serial killers had named The Catcher in the Rye as their favorite book. And I guess in a way, I was too scared to find out whether or not I liked it.
okay.
That's funny.
That's an interesting. I'm gonna have to remember to start asking people that. That's just a good all-around question for anybody in your life, whether you're interviewing them for the show or you're just meeting them rando, like
How do you feel about The Catcher in the Rye?
It's the best book ever. You might be a serial killer. I'm going to go that way. You can go that way. Bye.
Right? That's first date questioning there.
Mm-hmm.
So do you read? Did you read Catcher in the Rye? What'd you think of it?
Fun fact. I didn't like reading whenever I was a kid because I'm dyslexic and it was a pain in the ass. However, around high school, I picked up, I was just browsing through the library and I picked up Lord of the Rings, and I'm like, oh, this kind of sounds fascinating. So I read it, and I devoured all 3 books really quick. But that was the first novel I had ever read, so it was also difficult because my brain was like, I'm not used to writing of this level. I'm understanding most of it, but I had to look up some things.
It's not
Yeah,
terrible,
and I fell in love with the Lord of the Rings kind of in a different way, and for me it was because I wasn't used to long movies that didn't reach a conclusion. I'm very used to the 3-act structure of a story. So whenever I watched The Fellowship of the Ring and it left off in a cliffhanger, that annoyed me so much because I was a youngin' at the time. So I was like, this doesn't make sense. Why does the movie end there? And then somebody said, oh, the book is so good. And like I said, I got extra credit for reading, and The Lord of the Rings was one of the books that was on there.
Nice.
And I actually liked the book more than I liked the movie at the time. Now, in retrospect, I think that the trilogy is fantastic. But at the time, it was like, I can't get it. Why is a movie 3 hours long and has no conclusion? So
Yeah, whenever actually, so whenever I first watched Lord of the Rings, because it came out, I don't remember if it came out when I was in school or not. What year did the first movie come out?
I have no
it
idea.
2000 and something. It was the
early-
early 2000s because I remember I was still in school at the time.
Yeah.
2001.
Yeah,
Okay,
we
yeah.
would
So
be.
that was right around the time when I picked up the books. Actually, I was in high school, and me and my dad went to see it, and I'm like, "This was stupid. I don't like this movie. It was lame." And my dad's like, "This was just the first part." I'm like, "What?" And he told me, and that was I think that was actually like whenever I went into the library, read the back of the book, and said, "This sounds amazing." And so I checked it out, and then I just I devoured Lord of the Rings. And I got The Hobbit and and then I read the Silmarillion, and Tolkien is a god.
See, I'm actually quite shocked that PA wants anything to do with me because I've actually told him that I don't like the Lord of the Rings.
I developed a friendship with you before. You told me that. If you would have led with that, I'd be like, "Get away from me, heathen."
It's just not my writing style that I like.
It is very flowery. It is extremely flowery. And you know what? I hear this anecdote about Tolkien that apparently people hated going on walks with him because he would stop and just stare at everything for long periods of time. You know, it would be like, okay, well, what are we doing? And it's like we're out for a walk, and you're just stopping to stare at the trees and to stare at the flowers. And I'm like, dude, that's what the books are like. you know?
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
First of all, hello, Antonio. Second of all, Bald,
Hi,
who is
Antonio.
making the Silmarillion? And
Amazon.
I don't know if I approve of that.
It's an Amazon Prime series, I think.
And third of all, yes, Tolkien. His writing is very flowery, but it also you read it and you get a very good feeling of the state of the world that he was dealing with all the warfare that that it was going on in the books, everything. Like he took that and he translated that into another story and made his own world, developed his own maps, created multiple languages.
And the lore is so thick. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
I mean,
so I don't know if you know this, Bard, but I have a few books about Tolkien, and in one of the books it says that he was originally, I think he was a college professor, and one of his students turned in a like an assignment, but it had a blank paper to it because he didn't finish it, like a blank sheet of paper because he didn't finish it, and on that Tolkien wrote the first line to The Hobbit. He was so grateful to that student. He almost gave him an A for not doing his assignment, and then he wrote the first line of The Hobbit, and that's where everything kind of started. So thank you, student who didn't finish your assignment. Your laziness gave us a great world and amazing books.
Wow. And what is the first line?
In a hole in the ground, there lived a hobbit.
Yep.
Not a dirty
But not
hole.
a dirty, nasty hole.
No, a pleasant, cozy one.
Yeah.
I like The Hobbit. I like The Hobbit. I've reread The Hobbit a few times.
See, you guys are lucky because you grew up in an age where you can watch the movies, and the movies are amazing. When I was growing up, the only thing we had was an animated version of The Hobbit that
I remember that one.
was just
Oh, see,
nonsense.
my teacher read the whole class The Hobbit in grade 7.
Oh, nice.
wow.
That's how I got into The Hobbit.
My mother read it to me and my brother every night, the whole series. I was like 5,
Oh, wow.
and she was reading The Hobbit to me.
Yeah.
Very nice.
No,
So
I was in grade 7 before the Lord of the Rings were coming out, as Serafin would definitely know.
Yeah, I do know. As it turns out, we're the same age and just a couple of days apart.
Yeah.
So I might accept this. Oh no, never mind. That was I'm trying to look up to see who's directing the Silmarillion. If it's Peter Jackson, I might accept it. Because he did a great job with Lord of the Rings.
He also spent like 10 years working on the movie trilogy. I kind of have expect that he'd be really tired of it by now.
Psh, tired. We don't allow that around here.
Boggs didn't answer.
We don't
my
allow tired?
question.
No.
Oh, what was your question, Filia?
Well, Boggs said that he was reading the books. Let's see. I've read many of the classics, aside from the very basics. Effectively taught myself to read as well as English. So my question was, English is not your native tongue, a native language question. Like, what is it? So, Boggs, if English isn't your first language, what's your first language?
Gosh, I'd have a hard time believing that his first language isn't English. Every time I listen to Farmer Ray, to me, it's like, wow, you know, because he can do it with an accent and he can change it up on the fly. It's really amazing.
Right. That's, now you'll see my confusion.
Yeah.
So, we're putting him on the spot now.
Inquiring minds need to know, what is your first language, Boggs?
I will admit, I'm not a big fan of the Hobbit movie because they added too much.
Yeah.
It's just,
I was going to say, because it didn't need to be a trilogy.
it did not need to be a trilogy. It needed to be a solo movie.
I think
at most, it needed to be 2 movies. At most.
Yes. No. I think 2 movies would have done it justice. 1 movie would have been too short, and they would have had to leave too much out.
They could have done like a 4-hour movie like they did with the extended edition of Lord of the Rings, and they could have made that work.
That's true.
I wouldn't go see it.
I don't know. Like the last Harry Potter to me seemed like a good idea to split it in 2. So I could see splitting the Hobbit in 2 also.
Yeah.
There's just so much information in The Hobbit.
Yes.
And then
it really does set down the foundation for everything. It introduces you to like freaking everybody.
Right.
Well,
And
the Silmarillion is like, the Silmarillion is amazing for introducing you to the lore of how Middle Earth was created and everything. It's spectacular.
Because the Silmarillion is basically the mythology of it all, the creation myth and everything, like with Eru Iluvatar, the god figure and all that. So it's pretty wild. Me personally, I'm not a fan of adapting long-running works into movies because I feel like you don't get all of it into the movie translation, you know. So to me, I always kind of picture if it's a really thick series, turn it into a what's it called, TV show or something, you know, because you have more time to take your time and get it right.
Yeah. But they tried to do that with Dresden Files. It didn't work out.
Well, that's because whoever got their hands on it was not a fan of the work, and it's evident because of how horrible they handled the source material, which is awesome.
Bob, I just have to say Bob. What they did with Bob.
Why was Bob a person? I don't understand.
And why did everyone know who Bob was? No one was supposed to know who Bob was.
I know.
Sorry.
Boggs answered our question, guys.
Oh God, is my native tongue starting with U.S. English?
Ilocano?
Though much.
And of course, now we all have to ask him, where?
I'm Googling it.
Okay, you're gonna beat me.
Test radio.
Oh, from the Philippines.
What's up, buddy?
Okay.
Oh, it means him and Miss Groupie Tails will probably talk fine. Unless there's more than one language in the Philippines. I don't know.
Oh, Bob. You can't name a planet Bob, like from Titan AE, Boggs. I remember that movie. That was a good movie.
Did you guys hear me that Possessed Radio joined us?
I see that.
Hey, Possessed Radio.
This isn't where he left his keys, though.
Radio.
I'm sorry.
The sleeping mongoose.
It's going good, buddy. How you doing?
Nice to see you here with us.
So,
Welcome.
Serafin, how do you get your story ideas?
Oh, super simple. I write myself as the main character of every story. Like literally, I will take something that is super mundane that happens to me, and I would just escalate it to mythical proportions. So yeah, so that's basically like my starting point for any story is, like if something just like really sticks with me for a long period of time, or something that I do, or something that I like, and I just kind of like start spinning it until it becomes a story. Exorcist, for example, I've been training in martial arts since I was in high school. So, and I'm terrified of supernatural ghosts and demons and things like that, because in my mind, they're the kind of things that you can't fight. So whenever I watch a movie like a slasher, like Scream or Halloween, in my head, I'm like, yeah, a simple takedown, you watch out for the knife, but get behind him, get beneath the center of gravity. You can knock a guy over, you can punch him, but you can't punch a ghost. So in my head, I started kind of spinning the threads, like, okay, so can't punch a ghost. I know martial arts and I'm scared of ghosts. What if I could punch ghosts? And that's kind of how the story was born. Then you just kind of flesh out the character so that he's not a carbon copy of who I am. And yeah, that's kind of what I do.
Welcome, amateur animated. Animator. Brady.
Hey, amateur animator.
Yeah.
How you doing, buddy?
I
Also,
saw-
Merry Christmas to you too. Amateur came in with Merry Christmas, everyone.
So Serafin approaches story writing like most us males do penis size. Boggs, 2021.
Sure.
Look at my ideas from dreams, and I'm like, that is just fucked up enough to make into a story. I approve.
Yeah. Dreams is another one.
So, when you get these ideas, are you like demon possessed and you have to write it, you have to write it now? Or are you able to retain enough of it that you can come back later?
It's a little of both, actually. So, some of them, for example, for whenever 42 was doing her mega collab, she asked me for the lore to my channel.
Oh god.
And I sat down and I wrote 20 pages of it in one night.
Wait.
God,
That wasn't something
man.
you just had. You wrote it to hand
Yeah,
it to me?
yes, I just like right out of the gate, I just started going. For Exorcist, same thing. I sat down and in one fell swoop, I just wrote the entire story.
I do that too.
As for some other stories, like for example, I am kind of working on a novel. It requires a little more finesse. So I've had the idea for this novel ever since 2014, and I've been slowly assembling it because it requires building a mythology, it requires building a world. The characters can't be so flat, and all of them can't be based off myself. So
Oh, so
I
we can't have a
mean-
bunch of Seraphins, is what I'm hearing.
yeah, that would be. I don't doubt that would be a heck of a book to read, mostly to just kind of get a picture of the mind of a madman. But I don't think it would do well for any other reason.
Bard's novel, multiple personalities with the Bard.
That's right. Conversations with myself, featuring Serafin.
But Bard, whenever you're talking about how you were afraid of ghosts, you're scared of ghosts, and you made a story so you could punch a ghost, it brought me back to My Property Isn't Normal, which is a story that Mr. Creepypasta read. And at one point, there's the ghost possesses this person,
Mhm.
and he like just kicks the ghost in the balls, and I'm just like, story.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like a lot of the times writing is nothing if not some fanciful wish fulfillment. So whenever I get to writing a story, I kind of write the stories that I would want to read. and I just kind of go that route.
I just think of an idea that I'm like, you know what? I'm not scared of. Like, I've never read anything that I'm like, that's creepy. Or I really haven't even heard any stories. I'm like, that's creepy. So I gotta try to figure out what people are afraid of and get in their head so I can write it as twisted as humanly possible so I can scare as many people. Because when you're so desensitized to everything, you kind of gotta go. I gotta get in other people's heads because if I get into my head, I'm like, that's not scary. It's stupid.
Yeah.
I like to explore different ideas when I come up with an idea. I'm like, what if? And then work off of there.
Oh my god, the what if tree. That thing is dangerous.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, it made me freeze a woman to death with food all around her.
So Filia's most popular video, which is a Song in the Storm, which is one of the first stories I've ever wrote. Creepy Clown Girl said, I bet no one could write a story about people going outside and becoming human popsicles. And I'm like, you want to bet me? And I did. So, you give me a ridiculous idea, I will run. I can run with it, and I will turn it into something awesome. Because that story is about,
Right.
about a siren that comes to a town on a snowstorm and takes everybody. Yep.
Hey, that works.
Random
Hey, worked for
popsicles.
Dr. Seuss. Because, Dr. Seuss wrote Green Eggs and Ham on a dare. So,
Did he?
yes, that they bet him that he couldn't write an original story with X amount of words. I don't remember how many. I think it was like 48 or something, or under 50. And he says, I bet you I can. And he did.
I bet you I can. Green Eggs and Ham.
It's one of his best videos.
That's why it repeats so much.
Yeah.
Yes. That's why it repeats so much, yes.
But it works so good for kids because it's something they can remember.
Yeah.
I'm convinced that man was a genius. I've read his work, and I'm like, this doesn't come from a normal mind.
No. But there are people like that. They just have these incredible minds that, they just work in different ways.
Yeah.
Tolkien had this mind that could create such an in-depth world. There's some people can do it, some people can't. I can't. I'm not that good.
My older sister is always remarking on how blown away she is by like the random ideas I come up with and how like I can actually just turn them into something that's she'll sit there and read it and she'll like, I can picture this in my head and it's horrifying, and I'm just like, yeah, you say so. I'm like,
That's
my reaction is it's okay.
Also, does anyone have any questions for Bard so we can ask him if you would like? Not that everyone doesn't know everything about Bard, but Bard's awesome, so he's here.
No,
What?
thank you.
Yes,
another
actually.
animator had made a point. He said the best part of being a writer is being the god of your character's universe, being in control of their fate at all times.
That is kind of fun. The thing is, I get so attached to characters whenever I have to kill one. I feel really sorry.
I just kill them for fun.
See, and I'm the
I
same
know.
way, Bard. I don't like killing important characters, but in the novel I'm about to write, a bunch of people have to die in it.
Yeah, same.
I'm writing a part 2 to A Father's Love called Son's Revenge just so I can kill everybody who survived.
Yeah, but PA's thing is, if someone lived, there's a problem. There's a sequel, and everyone's about to die.
I was gonna say, if what amateur animator says it's true, then you get a real insight on the different kinds of deities that we writers can be.
Yeah.
Keep people alive. For future use.
Yeah, and me, on the other hand, no, I want to keep you alive. Like, when I killed that woman off in the woods, that's because the whole story was about that. But I try to avoid killing people because sometimes hearing after is really interesting. There's a story that hasn't come out that Raven's supposed to read about someone who wakes up dead.
Nice.
Huh.
Oh, that would suck.
So I won't lie. Originally in the choice, Michael was not supposed to die. He was supposed to live. But I couldn't find a way to write it where it actually was good or made sense with him surviving. So I had to part ways with him, and that was like, I think that was the character I was most invested in too. Because honestly, if you've ever seen a picture of me, the way I describe him is about how I look, and the house that I describe in there is like actually my house, like the way it looks. So I pretty much did write myself into that one, and so essentially I ganked I ganked myself. But I really liked that character, and I was kind of attached to him. So he might be the only character I've ever written about that I was attached to.
So I see that you're using Serafin's patented method of writing yourself as the main character.
Yes, and I still
Totally
killed him.
works.
And Bard, I still killed him with no mercy.
Gosh.
Yeah, PA might be a little bit kill happy, as I like to call it.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it.
I lack empathy, so it's not hard for me just to gank random characters in my stories.
Yeah.
Gosh, I love all of my
Amateur
characters so
animator
much.
has a
They're my
question.
children. All right, let's hear it.
Okay. Who's thicker, Shrek or Thanos? And who would you rather date?
No, man.
I'm gonna go with
I would
Thanos'
say-
sticker.
Here's the thing. In my younger days, I would have absolutely gone for Thanos because of that strong chin, that chiseled bod, and also what's it called? His Josh Brolin smooth as silk voice.
Mhm.
In my older age, I think I'd be more of a Shrek person because he seems like a family man.
He does. He does. And a homebody. He just
Yeah,
wants,
that's right.
Yeah, he just wants to putt around his yard and do his thing.
He wants you out of his swamp. Get out of his swamp.
Right.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say, so I think Thanos might be thicker, but I would probably rather have Shrek because at least I'm pretty sure Shrek wouldn't be trying to murder me the entire time.
Right. Thanos definitely has that bad boy thing going for him
Yeah, he does.
to the core. Absolutely to the core.
It depends if I get to go in their worlds or not with them, because I could go with Thanos and then just leave him meet all the Avengers. Or I could go with Shrek and see all the fairy tale creatures. So I think I'd go with Thanos because then I get to see Spider-Man and I'd be super happy about that. So
Then he snaps his fingers and he disappears. I mean, so you lose him in the end. Then
depends which world which reality I go to, because they fucked with a few of them. So I could go with one where he didn't get a chance to.
yeah.
Marvel does have a massive multiverse.
Yes.
Yes.
That they destroyed.
Controversial. Peter Parker's the only Spider-Man. I acknowledge.
Well, you're wrong because there's quite a few, and a lot of them like Miles too.
You don't
I only
acknowledge
acknowledge Peter
Ben
Parker.
Riley?
Who?
Ben Riley?
No.
Peter Parker's clone?
Oh, Peter Parker had a clone. I don't.
He's had multiple clones. There's an entire story arc called the Clone Saga.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh,
No.
I haven't heard that. I wasn't aware of that.
That's
Yeah.
like if you ever try to put anybody, you try to ever make anybody else Venom other than Eddie Brock. I'm like, wrong.
Well, no one. I don't think anyone else but Eddie Brock has actually been Venom. There's other people with symbiotes, but they're not Venom.
Mac Gargan has been Venom.
Ah.
Wrong.
But didn't each of the symbiotes have their own like name, character, personality thing?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
Venom actually talks about that in the movie.
Yes. There's Carnage,
yeah.
who at the end of the movie they basically show that you're about to meet Carnage if they get another Venom movie.
Yeah, they're making one. I saw the trailer for it already.
Okay, because Carnage, whoa boy, even
I'm
Venom
gonna say-
doesn't like Carnage.
I'm gonna say that movie better be rated R because if you're gonna bring Carnage into it and not make it R, then I'm gonna be pissed.
Then you're not doing
A
Carnage
couple of things
right.
I wanted to say here is amateur animator. Yes, Into the Spider-Verse is one of my favorite Spider-Man movies. As a matter of fact, whenever I saw it, it was my opinion that you could stop making Spider-Man movies because that one was perfect. And the Boggs, Peter Porker, is one of the best Spider-Man in my opinion. Yes, he's Spider
Doc Ock,
Ham.
Spidey for-
Spider-Ham.
and then possessed Doc Ock Spidey for the win.
Yes,
Okay.
Otto Octavius was Spider-Man for a while.
Also,
Yeah.
we're on Venom. There is a thing called anti-Venom, and that's when Eddie Brock and Venom actually perfectly merge as Venom, and Venom becomes a hero for a while.
Is that because Spider-Man disappeared for a little bit?
I don't remember. I just know he.
Because deep down, Eddie is actually good.
Well,
Yeah,
that's the thing. Like, neither of them are evil. Both of them just had an utter hatred for Spider-Man because,
they ruined their lives.
yeah.
Spider-Man dared to take off the symbiote and tell it to go F off. So it was mad, and Eddie Brock lost his job to Spider-Man.
Peter Parker. So because the symbiote knew Spider-Man's identity, then they both had a reason to hate Spider-Man, and they kind of like joined forces to destroy him. And like if you watch the show, he was more of an anti-hero than he was of an actual villain, because he never purposely tried to go out and to murder anyone. He just did stuff to get Spider-Man's attention.
So the enemy of my
Ooh.
enemy is my friend.
So in essence, Venom is Joker and Spider-Man is Batman. You think about that, just that this dysfunctional relationship going on.
No, because
Except
in
you only do-
Venom,
Nightwing.
What's that?
Nightwing. Boggs official
Ni-
said, "Isn't there someone working on a Nightwing movie?"
Ooh,
God, I hope.
I would love
Nightwing
that.
is awesome.
Is Nightwing?
He's
See, this is where I get
Nightwing
confused
is Robin
because-
grown up, essentially.
the
right. He kind of
second
takes
Robin.
over when Batman retires.
It was the first Robin, and he doesn't retire so much. The first Robin eventually outgrows Batman, so to speak. He kind of wants to branch off and be his own guy.
Well, he wants
So
to,
he leaves for
stop putting them in jail where they're just breaking out. He kind of just wants to get
Right,
rid of them.
well, no. You're thinking of the Red Hood. Red Hood was the
right.
second Robin who got killed by the Joker and came back, and he was super vengeful. Nightwing, everyone assumes would be the perfect successor to Batman, because Nightwing is Batman without all the darkness. So he can be a crime fighter, but he can still be happy. And he can still be himself. He's not the Bat. He's Richard Grayson, but crime fighter.
Right.
So
He's a
yeah,
bit of a dick,
he
though.
eventually moved away from Gotham, went to his own city, and decided to become a crime fighter there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I
So
always get confused between the comic books, and you've got the various cartoon movies.
yeah, some of it is canon, some of
Yeah.
it's not. That's the worst part.
Right.
That's true.
So
Yes.
My favorite Batman, though,
Terry,
Batman Beyond.
Terry.
I love Batman
Yeah,
Beyond.
He was amazing.
Yeah, I was gonna say the perfect
I-
successor of Batman was Terry.
Because
Yes.
also Joker didn't know how to deal with him because he wasn't playing right.
That's right. I love. There was this one TikTok that I saw, and it was perfect because this one guy's like, "You ever think that the criminals that are in future Gotham, whenever Batman Beyond is happening, get really upset about Terry being Batman? They're like, you kids don't know how good you have it. Your Batman tells you jokes. Back in our day, if Batman told us jokes, we'd be just collectively crapping ourselves." I was like, oh.
Since humor while dead.
Well, and also like he was basically like, I really like Spider-Man because he's so smart, snarky, and quick-witted, and that's what
Mhm.
Terry is too. So of course I like him. So
Yeah.
You know what's funny? 42 is I always, whenever I'm trying to get people into the Dresden Files, they're like, "Well, what's it like?" And I'm like, "It's like if Spider-Man and Doctor Strange were the same person." Because to me, that's kind of what Harry Dresden is, you know?
You're
Oh my
not
God.
wrong.
I just thought at first I'm like, no, that can't be a thing, and then I'm like, wait, you take the smart assness of Spider-Man and the powers of Doctor Strange and you combine them, that'd be entertaining as hell.
Yeah, that's
It is
Dresden.
entertaining as hell.
You should
That's
pick up the
Dresden.
books.
Yes,
All the
please do.
books.
It's
Actually, I
great.
think you were looking at them, if I remember correctly. So.
Yeah, I'm gonna start reading them. I have
They're
other
really
books I
good.
need to read. I got other books I need to read first, but like once I get them taken
Yes.
care of, I'll start.
Once you start the Dresden Files, you won't stop for another. Was it 16 books now? 17 books? I've
Yep.
lost count.
We're at 17. We're about to hit the apocalyptic final trilogy.
Yeah, I was sure we're at it now. And you know the reveal at the end of that one really ticked me off. The one,
Oh,
the island at the end and what got revealed
like-
there.
yeah.
Okay, that's like has anybody ever read the book Aragon?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, the ending of that, where it made sense, kind of like the final book, kind of pissed me off.
I'm trying to remember how it ended again.
It ended with like him isolating himself
Right.
from like the world. I'm like, no, your whole purpose was to like get your life back, and you're like, nah, I'm gonna go over here now. Bye.
Yeah, that it was also written by like a 19, 18-year-old.
He was like 16 when he wrote the first book.
yeah, so
Yeah.
I thought it was a really good book, but now I'm looking back at it going, yeah, there's a lot you could fix in that, and I wonder almost
Yeah.
if he would rewrite it if he has a chance. And
Right,
fix
but
it.
I'm looking at the first book going for a 16-year-old having a book this like come out, and not only that, but have it published and be one of the New York Times bestsellers. That's really impressive.
Very much so. Yes.
In
Yeah.
fact, I'm gonna say if you guys haven't checked it out, he does have a new book out
Oh,
called To Sleep in a Sea of Stars, and it is like it's for adults, but it's like a space fantasy.
Hey, Mandy Mortem, welcome.
Hey, Mandy, welcome. Thank you for stopping by.
Hi, Mandy.
Also, reveal next week's guest. It's Mandy.
oh,
Oh,
Nice.
nice.
That's going to be perfect because I'm going to be releasing a story I narrated of Mandy's next weekend.
perfect.
It's almost like I perfectly set that up, but I didn't.
Shh,
I know.
shh,
I-
don't
it's
show him
everybody
behind the
that's gonna lose
curtain.
it.
Don't. It was perfectly planned. Shh, shh.
Right, it was. She's coming on. I'm going to release the story. So next weekend, guys, look for Midnight Blood Drive
Ooh.
by Mandy Mortem.
Spooky.
And apparently she can't wait either. Awesome.
No,
I'm
She
I
tried
can't
really-
wait either.
she's-
I'm excited.
She's been through a lot to get this story out there.
Mhm.
Mm.
I just hope it's not real bad luck. It's like she said it was in the first place.
I swear to you guys, get that one story out of my channel done by Creepy Ghost Stories, the Butcher Shop and the Perfect Cut. The recording to that was fucking cursed. I had to record that story 4 different times before I finally got a good take on it. And by
I
the
think
time I was
you
done,
mentioned that to me while it was happening. Actually, I remember you complaining about something happening and you had to start over several times.
Yeah, by the time I was done with that story, I was just done.
You
Which
were
is why that
done
one
with the
week.
story.
Yeah, that's why that one week there wasn't a Wednesday video, because I was just, you know what? Nope, I'm done. I'm just gonna go play video games now. I
Sometimes you need to
into
take
that video
break.
game.
I agree.
Got that-
Sometimes
that
you
one
need a break.
story that's kicking your butt.
Mhm.
And it's okay.
And-
People think, oh God, everybody expects me to do this. Not one of us. Well, okay, I take that back. There probably will be trolls, but the people that really matter are not going to say anything about a narrator or a story
Yeah.
writer taking a few days to get their head back screwed together right.
Especially
And-
if you're
Nobody's
not
gonna say
feeling well
anything.
too. Like if you're
There's-
sick.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And here's the thing, like, even Creepy Ghost Stories was like, dude, it's fine. Just release it as I'm sure it's good. I'm like, no. I'm not happy with it, therefore it's not getting on my channel until I'm happy with it. Like, that's just not happening.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you have a standard for your own content, I feel. For example, like right now, I'm coming down with a cold. I can feel it. Like my throat is getting scratchy, and I've got like horrible congestion. And I prepared for this by recording a few stories previously, so that in case this ever happens.
Nice.
And only problem is that I don't have like an intro written for them, so I've been like, quietly asking people like, hey, I don't know how long I'm going to be sick. Would you like to do a guest intro? Just do your impression of me, see what happens.
That's awesome. I love that.
I could not do an impersonation, but I would totally do an intro for you in this voice just for you.
Oh God, you won't be able to talk for the next few days.
Yeah. I wouldn't, but it would totally be worth it. I would jack up my vocal cords just for the bard.
It is a worthy cause.
Right?
I am very
Absolutely.
thankful. I am very thankful that you would jack up your throat for me.
You made that sound so dirty, big boy.
Okay,
I
everybody.
didn't think about it until after I had said it. After I said it, I was like, oh no.
Too late. Can't do anything about it.
Yeah,
We've got
it
12
took a
people
second. I
watching.
was like, oh no.
What's even
We've got
funnier is
12
I
people
let
watching.
it simmer. I let it simmer
And
for a
then-
minute. Go ahead and Filia.
I was going to say, we've got 12 people watching and only 10 thumbs up. So 2 of you out there, step up. Hit the thumbs up.
But yes, I purposely let that comment just hang in the air for a minute before I said anything because I just wanted it to sink in for a minute.
This episode of Traveler's Tavern is now rated NC-17.
If I said anything because this episode of Traveler's Tavern is now rated mature for mature content. Also, no children should be here anyways. I mean, bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Well, I consider myself just a really grown-up child. So I mean, if no children should be here, I'm like, well, I'm still here though.
Oh, Mandy, the wined, dined, and 69 to that like button.
Yes,
Whoa.
she did.
Ooh la la. So, Bard,
Yeah.
going back to the thing you said earlier, you said you've been doing martial arts for a good chunk of your life. What style have you trained in?
Northern Shaolin Kung Fu, Korean Hapkido, let's see, Japanese Aikido, some Krav Maga. Yeah, that.
So you're just all over the place. What belts do you? What are your belt rankings?
Black belt in Kung Fu.
Nice.
Let's see. I think I'm a brown belt in Hapkido. I didn't stick with the Japanese Aikido very much, and Krav Maga does not do belts.
I actually didn't know that Krav Maga didn't do belts. Interesting.
At least where I went to study it, they didn't. It was like, come in here and just do some fighting, and I was like, all right, cool, I'm in.
What you're saying?
Mhm.
Do you notice that there is a big difference in the philosophies
Yes,
of each?
very much so. Hmm. I do see that there's a huge change in the philosophies. Whenever I was studying Kung Fu, it was kind of this idea of self-discipline. Almost like, and it seems very stereotypical, but it was like get mastery over your own body, get mastery over your own mind. And when you're a master of all aspects of who you are, there's nothing that can stand against you, and that was followed up by, by meditation, by breathing exercises, by increasingly difficult tests, or what's it called, training exercises and all that. Increasingly difficult forms and different strikes and kicks and blocks and so on and so forth. So with that one, it was more of a whole, well-rounded. Every part of you needs to be in agreement of what you're doing. When I switched to Hapkido, the Korean Hapkido, it was very aggressive. it was basically like, even when you're blocking, you should be doing damage. And that one took me by surprise because at first it I went into it the same way that I would have at kung fu, because that was the one that I learned first. And it was being taught by this guy who'd been doing it for upwards of 40 years, he said. And I remember one time he's asking, well, has anyone trained in anything else? And I'm like, I'm a black belt in kung fu. And he's like, all right, come on up. And so he says, I want you to try and hit me. And I'm like, okay, it's this in my head. I'm like, he's just trying to show off, you've trained something else. Come on up here, hit me. Let's see what you got. And I remember I threw a punch and he blocked it, but he blocked it with such force that my arm was just like, wow, what just happened? it was like, oh my gosh. I remember like I had like my entire forearm was just numb for the next couple of hours. I was like, holy cow, what was that? And yeah.
So what style was this?
This was Hapkido.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
My style of martial arts, ones where even when you're defending, you're still hurting the person.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So the funny thing is, my husband was he doesn't have a specific martial arts he knows because it was mixed for him, and I can't list them all.
Mixed martial arts is fun.
Yeah, he does a lot of throws, he says, and that's because he's such a big guy. He doesn't want to hurt anyone. Not that he practices anymore. So. Someone's out loud.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is. Excuse us, we have live streaming problems as always, because live streaming always does this kind of thing.
Right.
Live streaming's
Welcome
never
to
professional.
live streaming on YouTube. It's always something.
Every person I've ever heard live stream, never been perfect. There's always mistakes in it, and that's part of live streaming.
That's the charm of
part
it.
of life.
Yes, exactly.
That's
That's just
true.
live streaming. That's life.
That's why it's called the live stream.
Yeah, we're not in completely controlled environments where we have professionals all around us making sure all the technical support are working. You just have me, who has duct taped everything together.
I always like that quote, man plans and God laughs. Because it's true. Every time you make a plan, and I love the people are like, I don't need a plan B. My plan's perfect. I'm like, you're going to really wish you had that plan B.
I always have a plan A, B, C, and D if I can.
I always say I have a plan A through Z, just in case.
Right.
I'm an improviser. Freestyle. Let's go.
Okay. That actually probably just answered the question I was going to ask, but I had a follow-up question about your martial arts.
Uh-huh.
So like bar fight, you're in a bar, some dude is belligerent and, takes a swing at you and stuff. Do you respond in a specific style, or do you just respond with whatever is best to counteract what your opponent is doing?
Ooh, well, it's complicated because in all of the studying that I've done, one thing that I found out is that it is super easy to damage yourself even when you know what you're doing. So in a bar fight, my strategy is don't be in it. Right. Try to stay out of it if you can. If there is something like that comes at me and it's too late, I can't get out of the way, I'll probably just go with my first reaction. Whatever comes out is what comes out. But usually, I've noticed that for me, the way it works is whenever I'm under attack. Hey, Seresteth. Whenever I'm under attack, I like to move in close because a lot of people don't have a grapple, good grapple knowledge. So whenever I'm in close, they can't get enough momentum to do damage. So
Right.
basically, I get up in their face, and just as little distance between. It almost looks like we're dancing.
Or almost like you're hugging.
Yeah, almost like you go in for the
Okay.
hug,
Yeah, that makes
And,
sense.
yeah, and they lose basically anything in their arsenal. So, also, I should mention, don't do this if they have a knife. Please stay as
Yeah.
far away.
Right. Yeah.
So,
If
I
they have
gotta
a
ask
knife,
Bard.
stay away. Don't hug.
Right, don't hug. It's a bad idea. That'll be your
Bard,
last
I
turn.
gotta, so Bard, I gotta ask, because I know this is a thing. Have you had to register your hands?
No, I have not.
So there's certain I don't know if it's a state thing or if it's or it's a countrywide thing. After you get to a certain level of martial arts, you have to register your hands as deadly weapons. So therefore, to be able to use any of your martial arts, you have to be able to prove that you were in a life or death situation.
Yeah, I think that's whenever you get into the specific degrees of black belt. So it's whenever I was learning, we got to black belt, but that was like the first step. Then you had first degree, second degree, third, so on and so forth. Whenever you reach that final one is whenever you have to register. I never reached that high. Once I got to black belt, I was like, good enough, we're good. And I just got,
Next.
I
CCG.
stopped showing up.
Also,
Hey, CCG.
my brother-in-law. The reason I know that is because my former brother-in-law was a third-degree black belt, and he had to register his hands.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. But there comes a certain point where you have to register them as lethal weapons. But I don't know. I'm too friendly. I mean, like for me, it's like like
Let's not fight. Like we can talk this out, man.
yeah,
Hey, big
basically.
guy, sorry about that. Hey, let me buy you a beer. Come on. Come to the bar.
Basically, yeah. I don't know. It's like I don't know. I always like to point out this story that it's the story of how I messed up my back for a good long time.
Oh God.
Where I was training in Hapkido, which has a lot of throws in the discipline. And one of the guys in the class was an ex-Marine. And the thing is, I honestly think that he was suffering from PTSD.
It's very
Because
possible.
every time we got into the fight, I mean, he changed. He was a very friendly guy, but whenever we were sparring, I mean, I don't know, something happened, and he got really, really just different. And this one time, we're practicing our throws, and he's taller than me. Firstly, secondly, he's built like a brick house. I mean, this dude is all muscle, and at the time, I was a very skinny guy, so. Imagine me, I was like maybe 140 pounds trying to throw this 200 and some odd pound man. It just wasn't going to happen. So he had to help me throw him. and he did not have the same problem with me. So one time we're practicing our throws and something happened. I think the sound of somebody hitting the mat too hard or just he got into the zone, but he threw me, and the moment I was in the air, I realized this is too high, and I can try to prevent, I can try to spread out and land in the best way that I can, but there's no way this isn't going to hurt. So I'm in the air, and this is what's going through my mind. So I do everything that I've been learning the entire time, like, here we go, stretch out, land so that you don't hurt yourself. And I remember hitting the mat so hard that it felt like my rib cage compressed like an accordion.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I remember feeling that, and I was like, oh my God. And I was out of breath for a solid minute. And, but, of course, I was a kid at the time, so all I could think to myself was, don't let him know he hurt you. You're tough. Stand up and pretend like nothing happened. So I'm standing up, and I remember struggling for breath, and I managed to catch it. So I'm like, okay, we're good. And we continued on with the class like nothing happened. And yeah, what ended up happening was I didn't feel it at the time because my adrenaline had spiked so high that I was in fight mode. But whenever I had the chance to cool down, I'd return to my apartment, and I started feeling so much pain. I actually had to take a break from the class for like a solid 2 weeks, I want to say, because everything hurt. And I have a lot of empathy, so in my mind, I could never think of causing anyone that level of pain, because that's all I think about is, here we go. If I do this, I mean, I can, but if I do, I'm inflicting pain on this person, and I just can't bring myself to do that.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So it's almost like you're a conscientious objector.
Yeah, a little bit.
So, did he feel bad about hurting you, Bard?
I never let him know.
Oh, Bard.
Well,
We're
I
still
figured after you
friends.
didn't
Don't
show
get me
back-
wrong.
I figured after you didn't show up for 2 weeks, he may have figured out that maybe he hurt you when he like chucked you.
I would still see him in class. I mean, it was like because it was during my college days, so I would see him from time to time, and he'd ask how I was, and I'd be like, "Yeah, I'm fine, man, no worries." But I don't know. In my head, I was like, "Look, I don't want to add that to whatever he's got going on." And a couple of visits to the doctor. The doctor's like, "Yeah, you're not broken, but you're gonna need to rest."
No more getting thrown onto the mat for a little bit, okay? Okay?
Yeah,
No more-
don't do
no more
that.
horseplay for at
I'll
least
throw you
2
onto the
weeks.
mat, Bard.
Seresta says, I would be great to spar against. Yes, absolutely, because I would not hit back.
Like, no.
There's a problem.
No.
Just Rob, I would not want to hurt somebody when we're just sparring, but
Mhm.
if I had the martial arts and somebody came at me, I would have zero qualms about freaking hurting them, like none.
Yeah. There's a difference between, between when you know that you're in no trouble and when you know something's dangerous.
Do you guys, I don't know if any of you remember, because I'm old, but do you guys remember the show Kung Fu with David Carradine?
Yes.
So familiar.
I just saw a commercial and I can't remember what channel it was on, but they're remaking Kung Fu
Oh, nice. Starring
with
who?
a girl. I don't
I'm
know.
also
It's a
for it.
girl. I
I'm
don't
A-okay with
remember very much about it. Just I was so stunned because it was a girl that I didn't pay attention to the rest of it.
That's my type.
Female?
Strong female.
So I will have to, or if someone can look that up real quick. My internet's really slow, so if I look it up, God only knows what will happen. It'll take me an hour. So if
Yeah.
someone else wants to
Let's
look
make-
that up real quick and give us some information.
2021 series on the CW set to it premiered already in April 7th, and it is starring Olivia Lang.
Well, there we go.
But an hour has passed by, so we might want to wrap it up.
Okay.
Because it is 42's birthday, and she does want to. I think she has dinner plans, if I'm not mistaken.
Spending with
Happy
time with her.
birthday, 42.
Thank you, guys.
Happy birthday. We're not going to sing to you.
Yeah, it's okay. I've got sung at so many times recently.
I mean,
We
I
sung to
can.
her last
I'm all
night
for it.
multiple times.
Yeah, once
I
it's
haven't
Ghost.
sang yet.
I am a horrible singer. If you feel like singing, go for it.
Are we talking to me?
Yes,
Just talking, you know.
Whoever says they haven't sung yet.
Oh,
just
Well,
by
I mean-
yourself. No one else.
oh
I'll
dang
know.
it. All right, hold on.
Oh
Here we go.
shit! We completely forgot Bart had a story to read.
Yes. We'll let him read
Oh,
that first.
Saved by the Bell.
Do we have time for that?
Go ahead. Yeah, no, I'm fine with that.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
It's a short one. I made sure that I didn't do the same thing that I did with my lore.
God, I did realize you wrote that. I thought you had it, and you just said to me, I was like, I don't have time to read this, Bard. I just want Cliff Notes.
In my head, I thought that I was going to be done in 2 pages. And after 20, I was like, I messed up.
This is probably not what you wanted.
Yeah.
Well, at least you got your lore.
Right.
Okay, well, velvet voiced one, please entertain us.
All right.
Your voice.
So this story is called A Letter to My Father. So, dear Dad, you have no idea how hard it is to say that, dear Dad. I think you and I were never really dear to each other. At least, I know that I sure was never dear to you. But no, I made a promise that I'd write this letter. My shrink, Dr. Rhodes, thinks that it might be helpful saying him what I always wanted to say. Things that I'd never dare say within striking distance of you. Dr. Rhodes says that I have 2 choices when it comes to dealing with my childhood. I could accept that I grew up with an abusive father figure who always saw me as little more than trash. Or I could forgive you. I told him that if it were up to me, I'd prefer to go hot tubbing with a plugged-in toaster. He says that choosing forgiveness would be the most empowering of the 2. He says that in forgiving, I'm taking charge of my own past, choosing to deal with it actively rather than just accepting what happened. I want to forgive, but just thinking about letting you off the hook that easily makes me feel like my blood turns to shards of glass. So, I decided, if I am to forgive, then I will, but not before I say what I have to say. I don't understand. I've racked my mind time and again, wondering how one could be so cold and brutal to their own kid. Mom always said that you had a rough upbringing, that you were forced to grow up too fast, that it motivated you to work hard and give me everything that you never had. And true. I've always had food and clothes and a roof over my head, but I would have traded all of that for a day without your scorn, without your malice and your hatred. I carry scars from your wilder outbursts, from nights when you went out drinking to forget your woes, but decided instead to pass them on to me. I still flinch anytime anyone raises their voice, even slightly, waiting for the slap that I've been conditioned to expect. Yeah, I had everything you never had, but I also got a lot of darkness to go with it. You know what sticks with me the most from growing up with you as a father? Your words. Physical scars are surface level. They heal and they don't really hurt much after that. But words cut deeper than anything can. And every insult, every slur, and every hateful thing you ever said to me has stuck with me for years, making me feel as if my soul has been bleeding all my life. So I figured that I'd have a few choice words for you. I remember spending every hour I could out of the house, hoping to see as little of you as possible. I guess I should thank you for that, because in avoiding you, I started spending time in the library. The peace and quiet of that sanctuary of knowledge was everything I longed for. It was there that I began to develop interests that became passions, and then became my career. And it was there that I found just the right way to write this letter. You've probably already noticed an uncomfortable stiffness in your bones, a dull ache that you must have attributed to your age at first. But it isn't that, I assure you. You see, in searching for the right words to say, I came across an old book that held some old, forgotten recipes for ink. A little carbon pigment, some varnish, resin, a little wax, and blood. My blood. Blood of one bearing a grudge. Blood of one willing to tear his soul apart a little bit in some moonlit rituals that call upon things far scarier than you. And the thing is, scary though they may be, they're actually quite helpful and supportive. They told me that I'd be destined for hell if I went through with this. I laughed because I grew up in hell. So, in a way, it'll be just like going home. You must be finding it difficult to breathe by now. Your skin might have started to harden and crack like old weathered stone. I can't imagine how painful it must be. I wonder if you'll still be able to think and feel once you're fully petrified. I wonder what people will say once they find you. You were always something of a stone-cold bastard. So, maybe it won't be too big of a change for you. Haha, Dr. Rhodes was right. I do feel a lot better now. And now that I've said everything I've held inside for so long, I am happy to forgive you, Dad. I hope to hear about you soon. Love, your son.
Damn, dude. That was a good story. I like it.
Damn.
Thank you.
Oh my god, that was awesome. Damn.
Excuse me not to get your bad side.
Well, it's kind of a little. Mostly, I write about my experiences. This a friend of mine said that he went through therapy, and the doctor asked him to write letters to the people who had wronged him, and I just kind of started thinking, well, what if the letters weren't cathartic but vindictive in nature? And this is what happened.
See, what if? They always were great, don't they?
It was awesome.
That was a really good story, dude.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
Wes.
I appreciate it.
Your ex has
I
showed
have
up.
Your ex. Hey.
Hey, X, how's it going, man?
Hey,
Hey,
Rando.
Hey,
man.
Rick just showed up.
I have a hat pin waiting for a specific person to die. And of course, this is very, of course, if they, get cremated, it won't work. But I'm waiting for an open casket. I'm going to take the hat pin and I'm going to stab him a couple times.
Apparently, don't get on
My
her
mother
bad
says
side.
it's, little
Yeah.
vindictive, but that's okay.
You're literally
It'll
waiting
make
for
me
them to
feel
be
good.
dead. You're literally waiting for them to be dead, though. So, I mean, it's not like they're gonna feel it.
Yes, I am, because, it's against the law to stab people with hat pins.
There used
Well-
to be laws against how big your hat pin could be.
Right?
Just, stab him in the heart with a knife. That's, yeah.
Your
Fine.
ex
Yeah, if
says
you have it, you can kill people with hat pins.
yes.
That's
Some of them
true.
I've seen. Your ex says you deserve 1,000 subscribers.
Nah.
I think I took yours. I took the picture of your sub count yesterday. So I don't know if you're still at 145, but I've seen you growing quite a bit since we met.
No. Thank you, guys. And, I'm working towards it, making sure that my content stays at a certain level because, like I said, last week I had to skip my Saturday upload because I'd been busy all week and what I recorded just wasn't up to my standards. And I was like, you know what? I want to make sure that every time I put something on my channel, it is the best work that I can do. So yeah, I'm hanging in there, making sure to put 120% into everything I do, and I'm thankful to all of you for all of your help, for all of your support, and for just hanging out and just keeping me from going insane.
Yeah. I hit 400 the other day.
Nice, very nice.
Bard's at one.
Bard's at what?
What's
He's
that,
at what?
Filia? Bard's at 148. I just checked.
Nice.
Oh, nice. Thank you. 2 away from 150.
That's cool. I did a collaboration with Big Daddy Stone. I don't know if any of you know who that is. It's the Dark Somnium's girlfriend, Romnex. It's her father.
Oh,
And
nice.
it ended up being a really good story. And he did all the editing and everything. It was just awesome. The sound effects and everything. And if you haven't checked that out, it's on his channel, Big Daddy Stone, and it's called the Cola Borehole. But his fans, I got a bunch of, my new subs from him.
Nice. It's always
I
when that
do
happens.
I love both Romnex and the Dark Somnium. They're a large reason of why I got into narration.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're really cool.
Well, her father, he definitely is patterned himself on the Dark Somnium quite a bit. You can tell that he, learned from there. I mean, he's got his own style, but you can hear it. It's there. But yeah, he's only been doing it for a little while. Vidit's here.
Hey, Vidit.
Hey, what's up, Vid?
But of course
Hello.
Yeah, he kind of has a built-in fan base already.
Yeah, it's always nice when that happens.
It really is.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it would be cool to have that, but then, the Dark Somnium has earned all of his fans.
For sure.
And so, a little bit of coattail riding is okay, I guess. I mean, I'm doing it secondhand. I'll take the 15 people I got from them.
Yeah.
Right? So,
Yeah.
well, that was a great story.
Yeah, that was
It
amazing.
was.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And if you guys haven't subscribed yet to the Midnight Bard, please do so. He's awfully good.
Definitely.
So, anything else, peoples?
Well, I was just gonna say, was there anything that you wanted to say to anyone, Bard? Serafin.
Let's see. I am extremely thankful for all of your support, and it is my mission every week to deliver the best possible story that I can bring you. So stop on by, let's be friends, and remember, happy birthday 242.
Thank you. I was expecting
Ain't
something
better than
else.
that.
I threw all of my effort into like that first part where you guys asked me to tell you about myself, so I got nothing left original in me for the day.
We've drained you. It's drained.
And all of my creativity.
Oh no. Oh no. Now he's gonna have to go suck some poor little YouTuber dry. Oh, that sounded bad. Never mind.
Cancel.
Yeah,
Forget
never
that.
There's just no way I can save that and make it sound like it did in my head.
Yeah, I had the same problem earlier with PA's throat.
Yep. We're just gonna stop there. Never mind. Oh God. Well, PA, do you have anything else to say?
Thank you, Bard, for coming in. It was a lot of fun. We'll have
Of
to do
course.
this again sometime.
Happy
Thank you
be
to
here.
everybody who showed up to Rando, Vid, Fearsome. I was trying to remember who else came in a little late. X. Y'all, like everybody else, you guys are awesome.
Seraph.
Amateur, Mortem.
Seresteth, Vidith,
Yeah.
Fearsome, all of you guys are the best. Boggs
Boggs.
apparently has a lot of knowledge on
Mandy.
comic books.
And apparently, you
Yeah, I
know,
was just-
every time I see Serafin, I see this fearsome hero everywhere. Everywhere.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, and you know, I can't believe we didn't say this at the beginning. Everybody, send a little bit of love to me and Mina. She's not up to snuff this weekend.
Right.
Yeah, she's feeling a little sick under the weather, so guys, send her some love.
Yep. I'll be sure to say hello, what's up. And oh, one last thing, if I may, if you guys don't mind me doing a shameless plug.
Go ahead.
Go
Go
for
ahead.
it, homie.
I do have a premiere coming up at what would be roughly 2.5 hours from now.
Yeah, about that.
Ooh,
Yeah, if you guys have some time,
Do
stop on
we-
by. I'd be happy to say hello.
do we have a link for that?
I can get you a link for that.
Actually, yeah, it's pretty easy. He's posted everywhere.
I did post it everywhere.
Actually, Serafin, you can't post it. Hold on, I can.
All
One-
right, cool.
One of us has to.
I got him.
Yeah, I don't think you have a blue thing next to
I
it.
do not.
Yeah, so you can't post your link, but I'll do it for you right now once I get to the right pages. Goodness
I got it.
You got it. Okay.
Yep. Just gotta navigate my way back here. All right. All right, guys. Here is the link to Bard's premiere. Everybody, go show the man some love. I will be there as long. I will be there, barring that I don't pass out.
It got posted
But I should be-
twice.
But I should be good. But everybody go show the man some love. If you haven't subscribed, I mean, why not?
Y'all
You literally just heard the man tell us a story, and it was amazing.
Yeah. He does not disappoint.
No, he does not.
I really try not to.
So once you join the collective, you can leave nevermore.